Hi friends, tomorrow July 26 is the Kargil Vijay Divas. On this momentous occasion, I wish to share with you a very important piece of news. On the eve of the Kargil Vijay Divas, a public interest litigation, a PIL, has been filed in the Supreme Court of India. This petition is a prayer to correct the war record of the Kargil War fought way back in 1999, that is almost 26 years ago. The petitioner is none other than Brigadier Surinder Singh, who was the commander of the 121 Infantry Brigade in Kargil. As we all know, he was removed from command of the brigade during the war and then removed from service later. He has been challenging his removal from command and from service ever since, for the last almost about 22 to 23 years, without success so far. Interestingly, in the PIL, the brigadier has stated his prayer is, in fact, his prayer is in line with the spirit of the decision taken in June 2021 by the Raksha Mantri, Shri Rajnath Singh. Shri Rajnath Singh had approved the policy of compiling and declassification of the war histories, including the Kargil War, after a period of 25 years. This was also in line with the recommendations of the Kargil Review Committee headed by Mr. K. Subramaniam, the late K. Subramaniam, and also the N.N. Vohra Committee. The obvious aim is to correct the mistakes, not to repeat the mistakes, and obviously to tell the people of whatever exactly transpired, whatever happened in the various wars, including the Kargil War. The idea is to set at rest the unfounded rumors which often float around the war. The petition by Brigadier Surinder Singh has been filed through his lawyers Manish Patnagar and Namit Saxena. It gives details of Brigadier's own military record. He has had a glorious record. He's been decorated twice in his career. And it also gives details of the Kargil War and how the events during the war unfolded. As I said earlier, the attempt is to set right the events of history, and the attempt is not to repeat the ugly past. I won't go into too many details of the petition because it awaits the decision of the Supreme Court of India. But it does talk of some of the things that Brigadier Surinder Singh had mentioned to me in his interview with me exactly in these days last year. That interview is available on the YouTube. But the PIL, like in the interview, lists out various blunders and missteps by the military top commanders, military top brass at that point of time, before the war and during the war. And some of these, the brigadier feels, were in line with the enemy's design. Some of the things he has mentioned are that 28 division which was created, was raised specifically for the defense of Kargil, was actually moved away from Kargil into the Kashmir Valley. And when the war actually broke out, 28 Div was not brought back, nor was the reserve division, which was 6 mountain division, brought back, but instead 8 mountain division was brought in. This was a division that General V.P. Malik, the then army chief, had actually commanded earlier. Also, some of the shuffling that was done of the top military commanders, including the GOC-in-C Northern Command, also were a dampener on the war effort. Not only were the army commanders, the Northern Army commander shuffled, the DGMO was changed, and so was the deputy GOC of 3 Infantry Division, which was then posted in Leh. The brigade mentions that 17 Infantry Brigade was brought to the Dras sector sometimes in September, October 1998, and it was located. This was brought in without additional troops, and then it was located near Nimmu, at Nimmu near Leh. The brigadier in his petition also makes a mention of the introduction of the Modified Logistic System, MLS, just on the eve of the war, which deprived the Kargil Brigade of the animal transport and pioneer troops, pioneer personnel, which was used to ferry ammunition to the frontline locations. The petition lists out various other things. It says were not brought to the notice of the Kargil Review Committee, then headed by K. Subramanian. Many of these things, it appears, was a cover-up. For example, the burning of the troposcatter in May 1999 was not brought to the notice of the Kargil Review Committee, and this troposcatter was the only means of direct communication with the Corps headquarters, which is 15 Corps, between this brigade, the division, and the Corps headquarters. Then the ammunition dump was blown up because the precautionary steps had not been taken. The petition also brings very interesting facts. For example, it talks of a post called .5108. When Brigadier Surinder Singh was a major posted in Kargil, he had actually captured .5108, for which he was even decorated. He was given the Chief of Army Staff's commendation. But later, when he took over the brigade, he realized that .5108 had actually passed into the enemy hands. When this happened, how this happened is not known. On taking over the brigade in 1998, Brigadier Surinder Singh carried out various reconnaissance of the area, detailed reconnaissance of the area, and made numerous presentations to the GOC. This is Major General V.S. Budwar. And he also made a presentation to the then Army Chief General V.P. Malik, where he presented the enhanced threat perception to the area under his brigade. Then he carried out an exercise called Janch. And after this exercise, he pressed for permanent defenses in various posts, including the Tiger Hill, which incidentally was named by Brigadier Surinder Singh himself. So he asked for additional defenses in Tiger Hill and various other things, various other posts around Tiger Hill and in Dras and Kargil sector. He also sought satellite imagery. He sought aerial reconnaissance, aerial photographs, and all these were denied. And instead, a misplaced emphasis was made on building a zoo in Leh, which was of no use at all. He also makes a mention that the 3 Div was so ill prepared for war that it didn't even have an op order, an operational order, which is actually mandatory. Whether this is true or not, I do not know, but this is what he makes a mention of this. Then he also says that certain posts, including a very crucial post called Bajrang Post, was vacated in February 1999, and he asked for this to be reoccupied. The brigadier asked for this to be reoccupied in April, but this permission was denied. And later, when the war broke out, an attempt was made to reoccupy this in June, and that is the time we lost Captain Saurabh Kalia, who was ambushed. Brigadier Surinder Singh also mentions in his petition that a lot of information was coming in the nearby brigades and units of the intrusions by Pak troops. All this information which was available was denied to him. Had it been provided to him, some precautions, additional precautions could have been taken. The petition makes a very interesting mention of an interview of the then Air Chief Marshal A.Y. Tipnis. This was given to a TV channel sometimes in 2009, much after the war. Now, this is very significant. I'm going to quote from portions of this interview, which are mentioned in the petition. In this, Air Chief Marshal Tipnis says that in May 1999, that is the Indian Air Force, had insisted that the government needs to be taken into the loop about whatever is happening. And ab initio, he realized that the army was trying to hide this information, hide it. Because in his opinion, we had been caught off guard. Air Chief Marshal Tipnis says that this is the first lesson we ought to have learnt from this, and which he believes the Kargil Review Committee did not bring out. That is to say that whatever be the situation, don't keep information to yourself, which is to say, don't hide information. So keeping information to yourself, this is what the army tried to do. This is what Air Chief Marshal Tipnis said in his interview as far as the army is concerned. Brigadier Surinder Singh in his petition also says that the war was hastily called off when all posts which had been occupied by Pakistan had not been recovered, had not been reoccupied. and this includes a particular post called .5353, which he says is still in enemy hands. And he says that later a false narrative was created of an intelligence failure. The intelligence, he says, in his opinion, was there but was not taken note of. So this was a false narrative of intelligence failure which was created. Brigadier Surinder Singh says that a lot of these facts which were available were not brought to the notice of the Kargil Review Committee by the then Army top brass, including the then Army Chief General VP Malik. So he has demanded that there is need to set up either an addendum committee to the KRC, to the Kargil Review Committee, or a de novo inquiry headed by a Supreme Court judge into whatever actually happened before and during the Kargil War, or a probe by a group of ministers. He says that all this needs to be done so that the history is corrected. We have a correct view of how the Kargil War was fought or should have been fought, and all this should be corrected before the war history is put into the public domain. This is what Brigadier Surinder Singh has sought. The petitioner he's in his late 70s now. I think he's 78, not in great health because of the war injuries that he has suffered during his military career. And he says that he has been pursuing this matter of how certain facts were kept under the wraps since 2002, which is almost 23 years ago. He had moved the Delhi High Court, and then that is about the time when the Armed Forces Tribunal was set up. So his petition was referred to the Armed Forces Tribunal, and the petition is pending before the AFT, the Chandigarh bench of the AFT, for the last 22 to 23 years. He fears that the decision may be delayed. He's already of ripe age, and meanwhile, a doctored version of the history of the Kargil War may be put out into the public domain. This is what he's. Now, the moot point is how much of what Brigadier Surinder Singh says is absolute truth. Though I must say that he has backed it up in his petition with a lot of documents. Some of these documents, I think most of them have already been in public domain. Some of these documents have been part of various inquiries that have taken place. Now, let us see what decision the Supreme Court takes, how they look at this petition. But one thing is for sure, on the eve of the Kargil Vijay Divas, it is sure this petition, which has been filed for the Supreme Court of India, this PIL which has been filed there, is sure to start a meaningful debate and a discussion. I'll come back to you as there is more news available on this particular case. Thank you. That's all for now.